Hi there, and welcome to Mr. Bell's Grammar Series, Volume 6, Compound and Complex Sentences. For some of you, this will just be a quick review, and for others, it will help you establish a foundation in understanding what we're talking about when we move on to more complicated grammar ideas. It's important to remember, when we talk about grammar, we're trying to get a better understanding of how the English language is structured, so we can better communicate with each other. This lesson will put together everything we've talked about so far, and we'll get to really dig into how to create sentences that have some real depth and complexity. So, to get a better understanding of compound and complex sentences, let's get to work. In the last two lessons, we looked in particular at clauses and conjunctions. We described clauses as the basic block of sentence construction and even looked at how they can be a sentence all on their own. Now we're going to look at all the ways we can combine clauses to create more interesting and effective sentences. There are 4 types of sentence, and we'll go over each one in more detail. In our last video, we talked all about conjunctions. You may want to refer back to Lesson 5 if you need more support. To review, there are 3 types of conjunctions: coordinating, subordinating, and correlative. Coordinating conjunctions can be remembered with the mnemonic fanboys. Subordinating conjunctions join an independent clause and a dependent clause, and correlative conjunctions always come in pairs and join words or phrases that have a relationship to each other. Before we get started, let's quickly refresh some key points that we'll need to have in mind for this lesson to be useful. First, there are 2 types of clauses. Independent clauses have a subject and a predicate and can stand alone as a complete idea. Dependent clauses also have a subject and a predicate, but they need some help in order to be complete. If you take a look at our sentences below, you'll see that our independent clauses can each stand alone as a sentence, but our dependent clauses are missing some information. They need context or causation or some other piece of information to be complete. However, if we combine them, we have complete ideas. You may have noticed that all the dependent clauses start with one of our subordinating conjunctions too. This will factor in later on. There are 4 main types of sentence: simple, complex, compound, and compound complex. While the record for the longest grammatically correct sentence is held by William Faulkner and is over 1,200 words long, most English language sentences average between 15 to 20 words. Just remember, in order for a sentence to be complete, it must be a complete idea, as well as having a subject and a predicate. We actually looked at these back in Lesson 4 when we were going over independent clauses. A simple sentence is a single clause. It has a single subject and a single predicate. The first 3 sentences are short and straightforward. Each has a subject, a verb, and an object, and not really much more than that. However, a simple sentence doesn't have to be short. If you want to pack in some adjectives and adverbs, you can extend a sentence length significantly without changing its essential nature. If we strip away the extra words, we see that the core of the sentence is still just the subject, verb, object, a single clause. If your sentence has more to it than a single clause, whether an additional subject, object, or a whole nother clause, it has gone beyond being a simple sentence. Let's look at the first type of these more complex sentences: the complex sentence. A complex sentence contains both an independent clause and a dependent clause. Usually, a complex sentence will use a subordinating conjunction. Take a look at the sentences below. Each has 2 separate clauses, one that can stand independently and one that needs the other to make sense. When you are trying to figure out how to punctuate your complex sentences, look at whether the dependent clause comes first or second. If the dependent clause comes first, you use a comma to separate the clauses. If it comes second, you generally don't need to do so. Take a look at my example that definitely isn't going to age out of relevance in a few years. Also, spoilers, I guess? If a complex sentence is one that joins an independent clause to a dependent clause, a compound sentence joins two independent clauses together. These typically use a coordinating conjunction. Remember, that's one of our fanboys. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. You can also join the clauses with a semicolon. Although the second clause can stand on its own, it should still start with a lowercase letter. This is one of those types of sentence construction that may seem unnecessary, but by combining the two clauses into a single sentence, it creates a connection of meaning between them. In the example here, I talked about liking Marvel movies, and that Captain America is my favorite hero. Each clause, taken separately, tells you something. However, particularly taken out of context, there's nothing to say that the Captain America from the Marvel movies is my favorite. I could be a fan of the version of him in the comics, or the cartoon shows, or the delightfully terrible made-for-TV movie from 1979. But by combining the two clauses, it makes it clear that my favorite hero is the Captain America in the Marvel movies. But what if you have a really complicated idea, one that you're struggling to express, or something that just sounds better, all put together because it cuts down on repetition? Here we come to the most complex form of sentence construction, the compound complex sentence. A compound complex sentence has at least two independent clauses and at least one dependent clause. This essentially combines the compound sentence with the complex sentence. There's nothing that says you have to have only three clauses in your sentence. You can have multiple dependent clauses and multiple independent clauses. As long as you combine them in a way that follows our rules for grammar, it can still be a grammatically correct sentence. I don't generally recommend getting carried away with this one. You run the risk of creating a run-on sentence if you're not careful with your phrasing and punctuation, and sentences longer than necessary can be confusing to your reader. However, sometimes it just makes more sense to combine your clauses into a more complex sentence, and that's just fine. So, to review. In order to be complete, a sentence needs to have a subject and a predicate and be a complete idea. There are four ways to put a sentence together. The first is the simple sentence, which is a single clause. The second is the complex sentence, an independent clause combined with a dependent clause. These usually use a subordinating conjunction. The third is the compound sentence, two independent clauses joined with a coordinating conjunction or semicolon. And finally, there's the compound complex sentence, at least two independent clauses and a dependent clause, all joined together. And that's it. This concludes Mr. Bell's Grammar Series Basics. Let me know if you want more content like this, or there's something in particular you'd like me to cover, or go back over in more detail. I hope that these videos have helped you develop a better understanding of basic English grammar. Getting comfortable with the structure of the English language can help you identify differences in how people write and pull more meaning from their words. Once you've established a foundation for understanding language's structure, you will not only be better able to understand other people's writing, but to express yourself more precisely and effectively. There are a lot of subtle tricks you can use in English writing to convey not only meaning, but nuance and style. Class dismissed.